Aloha and Belina. Welcome back to Spark and Inspire Week 2020. You are in the right place and you are in for an amazing evening. I'm Elena Farden. I'll be one of your co-moderators for this evening. I'm so excited to be here. So this is night 2 out of 3 this week. Last night we had more than 140 audience members come out across Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, and to hear and support 2 of our awesome presenters, Lauren and Olga. They shared their inspiring vision for increasing the sense of belonging for our military and our local Keiki and the Wahiwa community through their Build a Bridge project. So tonight we're showcasing another beacon, lighting the way through these changing times. And we know that nothing can really take the place of us gathering in person, but to delay the opportunity for us to celebrate our Shining Star teachers and projects that really reflect the spirit of aloha, of resilience, of equity and social change was just something that we weren't willing to do. So, coming together online is just the start of our conversation together. It's the beginning of us marking our time this night and for this effort. So, you're not just here bearing witness to these amazing projects and learning journeys, you're here to be part of the story with us. So glad that you're here. But before we jump in, it's my honor to introduce to you 2 amazing leads behind this amazing team putting on this beautiful event. And that's Jill Baldemore, Executive Director for Teach for America Hawaii, and David Miyashiro, Executive Director for Hawaii Kids Can. Hey, David and Jill.
Hey there. Aloha and welcome everyone back to Spark and Inspire Week 2020. Last year, Teach for America Hawaii and Hawaii Kids Can joined hands to launch Spark and Inspire, an event to celebrate and share some of the innovative work happening here in our Hawaii schools. Both of our organizations share a vision of all students having access to a high quality education that opens doors of opportunity. At Teach for America, our focus is on developing leaders who contribute to systemic change starting in the classroom.
Hey everybody, great to be back with you again tonight. I'm really excited to be here. At Hawaii Kids Can, we advocate for a more innovative and equitable education system through policy, community organizing, and research. Our work includes our WAVE program, which empowers students to speak out for real policy change in education. So together, our joint hope with Teach for America and through Spark and Inspire is to really shine a light on the innovative work that is already happening in our schools and to spark and inspire new ideas and innovations that will further enrich opportunities for our keiki. More than ever, it's clear that the complex challenges our local and global communities face will require responsive, community-led solutions.
So a year after our inaugural launch, we are all trying to be innovators in our own way as we pivot and learn and try new things to adjust to this most unusual time. For some of us, this might be a bit challenging, but for our teachers and educators, they are made for this moment. Every day, our teachers, administrators, and countless educators bring passion, positivity, innovation, and entrepreneurship to their work here in Hawaii. Much like entrepreneurs, they have identified something that's missing in the market. They've been creative in designing an initiative, and they are resilient in finding resources. But unique to educators, at the very heart of all their initiatives is a deep belief in our kids and communities and a desire to positively contribute to education here in Hawaii. So we call them edupreneurs. Entrepreneur plus educator equals edupreneur.
So last year, 4 groups of local edupreneurs shared their innovation, and it has been awesome and exciting to see their work continue. For example, the Maestros Vibe podcast crew used their grant from Spark and Inspire to purchase new equipment and handle LLC fees. Their podcast is now accessible on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and they've recorded nearly 30 episodes since Spark and Inspire 2019, with an average of 500 listeners a month. To support Spark and Inspire 2020, they recorded episodes with each current presenter group, and they'll be moderating audience Q&A later this evening. Bill Chen and Matthew Williams, another presenter group, used their grant for tech and video camera supplies to run monthly pop-ups for their shared STEM learning space. They've been hosting monthly co-designer meetings where parents, community members, and students are part of designing and driving the space. and they have plans to apply for a number of Innovation Accelerator and Social Innovation Awards and grants. This year, Spark and Inspire will highlight the innovative work of 3 new groups of edupreneurs.
As we work to reimagine this event, we've leaned into the very values of Spark and Inspire: innovation, agility, and community partnership. Tonight, you'll be able to participate from the comfort of your home, allowing us to connect across different islands and even states. The incredible filmmaking of Leah Lucine Carey has captured the passion of our presenters and will bring you directly into their communities and classrooms. And you, the audience, have a very important role to play. Whether you're joining us live on Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube, we're hoping all of you will use the Slido to share your questions and reactions and help make tonight a conversation across our community. We also want to take some time to thank our 9 resource experts who will join us throughout this week to share their mana'o. Big mahalo to Cece Chung, 2020 Hawaii State Teacher of the Year, teacher at Ka'imiloa Elementary, and 2013 Teach for America Hawaii alum.
Mahina Paishan Duarte, Managing Partner and Co-Founder of Vai Collective.
Jessica Kaneakua, Community Change Initiatives Lead at Lili'uokalani Kalani Trust.
Lauren Nami, Vice President of Strategy and Transformation at Kamehameha Schools.
Ed No, Executive Director of the Leadership Institute at the Hawaii State Department of Education.
Catherine Payne, Chairperson of the Hawaii State Board of Education.
Tara Shibiu, Director of Scholarship Administration, Hawaii Community Foundation.
Ben Trevino, Sustainability Planner at Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation.
And Phyllis Unebasami, Deputy Superintendent of the Hawaii State Department of Education.
Tonight, we're joined by an all-star, awesome group of women, Cece, Lauren, Jessica, and Phyllis. And last, but certainly not least, we want to give a big thank you to our sponsors, the Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation, Hawaiian Telcom, AT&T, Student Corner, Maestros Vibe, and our amazing MC for the evening, Elena Farden. Elena is the Executive Director of the Native Hawaiian Education Council, and she's an awesome community partner. So thank you and mahalo for being here and joining us live. Have a wonderful evening. Elena, take it away.
Awesome, thanks so much. So we're gonna jump in. Our flow for the evening will begin with a presenter video, followed by a discussion with our resource experts, and then rounded up with the audience Q&A, expertly handled by Maestro's Vibe. So for our audience, we'll be using Slido as our platform to source your questions and wonderings. So no matter if you're watching Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube, this will be our central platform throughout the evening to share your feedback with the presenter. So you can access Slido on your smartphone. You just want to use your camera on your phone and aim it at the QR code that you see on your screen. It'll take you directly to our Slido page. And if that doesn't work, you can always go to App Slido. That's app.sli.do. And you want to punch in our code 13760 or 13760. So we want to familiarize everyone with the platform. Let's go to Slido now for a quick poll. And when you see the poll pop up, go ahead and answer the questions that are listed. And let's take a few minutes for folks to try this out. So our question for the night is, how did you learn about managing your finances? Some of the top responses we have: School of Hard Knocks, yeah, we've all been there. Family members is our close second. College coming in third, and then friends in high school kind of rounding it out. So far, 42, 44 responses. School of Hard Knocks seems to kind of be it. All right, so without further ado, I want to introduce you to our presenter, Jaime Borromeo. The notorious RBG once said, "Women belong in all places where decisions are being made," and this TEDx speaker slash entrepreneur slash book author slash teacher at Konowana High School is doing just that. Jaime Borromeo is designing a financial literacy curriculum that puts Hawaiian values front and center for our students. So here it's more than just financial wealth. It's our cultural wealth, our environmental wealth, our social wealth. It's really driving the learning in and beyond the classroom. Let's show you this awesome presenter in action.
Hi, my name is Jaime Borromeo, and I'm a business teacher at Konawaina High School. Before I had the honor of serving this community, I worked in nonprofit, government, and private entrepreneurial jobs. This town, Kealakekua, has residents rich in a heritage of fishing, farming, and hunting. This rural mountain lifestyle means something, especially to half of my students that self-identify as Native Hawaiian. It's important to me that their people receive justice in the way of education. That's why I became a teacher. 1 in 5 Big Island children live in poverty. This can mean some days they don't eat. This can mean that I am the only parental figure in their life. This can mean that my classroom is the only safe space they have. These are my kids. These are my students. I want to teach them how to get out of poverty using a tool that Westerners introduced, but one that can be powerful if it is used to do good in our community. And ultimately, it's about economic justice. Right? Like, we want to make sure that if we want the economy to thrive, it's actually good business to have more diverse suppliers. It's good business to actually have more money in the hands of more citizens, because that means you're going to have more consumers, which are going to continue to spur the economy. Small businesses are the ones that are the economic engine of America, and that they are the ones that are providing the jobs. And who owns small business, right? Everyday middle-class Americans.
Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So let your light shine without holding it in. Love yourself and don't give in. And when you feel the harmony, smile with the sons of the galaxy.
If we bring it into the classroom and just start, wetting the palate a little bit with this information, just providing exposure to this information, then students might have a different trajectory with their lives. Traditionally, this knowledge is tailored to upper class communities. I want to bring this knowledge to our communities. We are planning on designing financial literacy curriculum that puts the values of Hawaiian culture as a centerpiece of learning for our kids. I have partnered with a cultural practitioner, Kumo Keala Ching, in order to make business and financial literacy a relevant topic for Indigenous communities.
That's where this oha comes from in ohana. Yeah? So if you look, we're all coming from the same stem, the same source. Yeah?
Giving access to a community that has historically been left out of it, and if anything, abused by the economic system. What I love about working with Kumu's kids is that they get to the heart of the philosophy of capitalism.
So what we're trying to do is we need to try and find out the truth. What is the truth?
They're asking really pointed questions on, like, why are we even participating in this type of system? One kid said, why are we the only species on Earth that has to pay to live on it? So they're taking some really amazing truths and bringing it to a level that everyone in their class can understand. I think we need to go back to values. What is it? Hawaiian values, ohana. Hawaiian values of giving. Hawaiian values of we only take what we need. And there's ways that our economy can be informed by these cultures, where we just bring it back down to the basics. And that's why I love working with Kumo, because he'll come up with an idea that comes from Hawaiian culture, and then you see how can we reform our economy using that concept.
We want everyone, all cultures to excel. Not one, not the other, but everyone.
Already, our students have built their own Kona coffee line called Konawaina Coffee, where they learn the values of a commodity in their backyard and how important it is to the global supply chain. Our students sold 50 units of coffee and raised $3,000. This experience showed them their economic power. I want a different world for my daughter and a different world for the children of Kona. One in which their Hawaiian heritage is honored while allowing our community to prosper. No one should go hungry, everyone should have adequate wages and not need to work 2 to 3 jobs to survive on the islands. Because we're gonna spur new ideas if we put culture and economics in the same playground. If we get to play with these concepts and ideas together, I think that we can change the world.
Lila, you're perfect like you are, a sublime creation, but you play yourself small.
It's given us a platform for us to freely think of ideas, but still it's teaching us the basic lessons of owning a business.
When you feel it's true.
My experiences haven't been great with traditional structures, but I feel like the business program gives me hope that in the future education can change.
Love yourself and don't give in. And when you feel
It's not for the faint of heart.
smile with the suns and let your light shine.
She is so dead set on having a relationship with her students.
And when you feel the harmony.
If you're a go-getter and you want to step outside the box, this is the program for you.
Being able to just have such a supportive teacher has definitely helped.
It really made me feel like, if I try, I can do it.
Wow, such a great video. Mahalo, Jaime. I feel like the music that was shared in the beginning should be like your theme music. So
Every time I watch it, I want to cry. My kids and Leah, you did an amazing job. Thank you.
I want to introduce you to our presenter in person, Jaime Borromeo. Jaime, awesome job.
Thank you.
Joining Jaime tonight, we'll have our resource experts. First up, we have Cecilia C.C. Chung as a 6th grade teacher at Ka'imiloa Elementary School in Eva Beach and 2013 Teach for America Hawaii alum. Cece is also the 2020 Hawaii State Teacher of the Year and President-elect for the Hawaii Society for Technology and Innovation. Cece, welcome back. Nice to have you. Joining Cece is Jessica Kaneakua. Jessica is the Community Change Initiatives Lead for Hawaii Island for the Lili'o Kalani Trust. She previously lived on Molokai and worked in the field of public health. Then in 2014, relocated to Hawaii Island, where she has worked within education and nonprofit sectors. She serves as a board member on the Office of Hawaiian Affairs Native Hawaiian Revolving Loan Fund. Aloha, Jessica. And joining the group is Lauren Nami, Vice President of Strategy and Transformation for Kamehameha Schools, where her primary kuleana is to ensure successful implementation of KS's Strategic Plan 2020. The plan envisions KS and its community collaborators working together to have a greater collective impact on Native Hawaiian learners. Aloha, Lauren. Nice to have you here. And rounding up the group is Phyllis Unebasami, Deputy Superintendent of the Hawaii State Department of Education, where she's responsible for leading, directing, and supervising academic education programs and overseeing the department's 15 complex areas and special projects. Her experience includes school-level, district, and state positions in the department and managing director at Kamehameha Schools. Welcome, Phyllis. So first up, I'm going to ask each resource expert to share an initial reaction, and after that, we'll have an open-ended discussion. But before I start off with Jessica, I want to remind our audience to really get in their questions to Slido, because that will be our next segment after this. So Jessica, wondering what your initial thoughts are, and then maybe some wonders or questions that you have for Jaime.
Sure. Aloha, everyone. My first initial reaction, I'd say, is to mahalo, Jaime, for just highlighting, uplifting, and using your platform to kukua our Hawaiian keiki and all of the keiki that you're working with. So mahalo to you. That was my first initial visceral reaction. My wondering, and it might be a little lofty because I tend to go wide and deep. So feel free to go as deep and wide with me as you want, or stay wherever you need. But so at Liliuokalani Trust, we're an elite trust that really does work to disrupt intergenerational poverty of Lahui specifically. So I guess my wondering is what, and I'm sorry to further go into that. We recognize that there has been intergenerational trauma, and we know that that directly impacts the quality of life of Lahui. So I'm just, one of my wonderings is that something that you talk with, or is that something that comes up with your students through this curriculum and the work that you do with them?
Yeah, so let me start out with saying that a lot of this work is very personal for me because my daughter Avalani is half Hawaiian. So when I look at how my husband was raised and the beautiful culture that they come from, I am inspired by it, and I realize that there are opportunities that my husband wasn't able to receive that we want for our daughter. So there were issues of poverty that he had to deal with growing up. And when I saw that the stories were so similar to my students, absolutely, erasing generational poverty in Hawaii is the reason why I even crafted this curriculum. So statistically speaking, if your parent is educated and has adequate income, then you probably will be educated and have adequate income. So the financial knowledge that Kumu and I present to the kids help them to create intergenerational wealth in order to perpetuate their culture. I do find it problematic that lessons in finance do not receive equitable airtime in education, especially because of its implications of survival for the learner. So it's a discipline that applies theoretical knowledge to practical application, and it's all in an effort to end generational poverty.
Mahalo, Jessica. Mahalo, Jamie, for that answer. Next, I want to jump to Lauren Name from Kamehameha Schools to get some initial thoughts and reactions from your project and see what other wonderings or questions you might have. Lauren?
Aloha, Jamie. I just wanted to say thank you so much to you and to Kumu Keala. I can just hear the passion and the ownership that you have over your role as Kumu and over your entire class. And I just deeply appreciate your brilliance, your care, and your courage, because you're touching on some really tough, provocative, and inspiring topics too. So I'm sure that your class can tell your class is much more than just financial literacy. So deeply appreciate it. And I'm a CPA by trade. So I have a deep passion for financial literacy as well, but I can just see how much deeper you take this. So I deeply appreciate that. I also wanted to say that, at Kamehameha Schools, being very focused on both education for Native Hawaiians, but also being a landowner and part of some level of economic development. What you are doing in your class is deeply aligned and could be a model, hopefully, for us, because we internally talk about, not just about finances or the individual parts, but about blended return and thinking about more, the holistic return and lifelong well-being. So deeply, deeply appreciate the work you're doing, and especially the connection to culture. So really appreciate that so much. My wonder was, because I really do believe that a big part of having a stable household and I guess stable life, economics and finances are definitely a part of it. So what barriers do you see or maybe opportunities to have this become more commonplace for all of the students at your school? Barriers and opportunities, I guess.
So yeah, thank you for your comments. I think that what Kumu and I are doing is super unconventional for both education and the business world. And so what we really need to do is we need to be able to use interdisciplinary skills to be able to teach our kekia. So for example, when Kumu and I teach, it's more of a Socratic dialogue, right? Like we invite the learner in, and if our tech people want to just show the model really quickly, I mean, if you look at the model that we're bringing to the table, we're going to have to work on all fronts of all these different industries to ensure that students are becoming global thinkers. And my class is different with the way we present financial literacy because it's anthropological, it's sociological, it integrates cultural studies. It's a way that my students can connect to their relationship with culture and the world of economics. So first and foremost, we got to get the foundational knowledge of economic theory and knowledge as a social construct in the same room. Then we have to acknowledge that the student culture and their experience is an equal stakeholder in the learning environment in order for us to produce that new knowledge. So we have to be willing to break these bamboo ceilings in education to make sure that cultural experiences are inclusive and held at an equal standing as economic theory and sociology, anthropology, psychology, and political science. And then we have to redefine it in order for it to apply to the Hawaiian community. And I think that we hold such a low bar for communities of color that we have to all come together to say, you know what, let's break this together. Let's all come together in one strategic objective. And that is for the learner to come in, develop new knowledge, and then apply it so that our communities can thrive together. So really, it's not one solution. It's not one silver bullet, you know, and one solution here or there. We have to get all of our communities together in order for us to address this in a novel way.
Mahalo, Lauren. Mahalo, Jaime. I'd like to go to Phyllis Runepasami next to get her initial thoughts, of course, to the project, and then some wonderings and questions that she has for you. Phyllis.
Aloha, Jaime.
Hi, Phyllis.
Hello. And so just listening to the other two panel members, just want to echo the mahalo and just watching the video before actually meeting you, just sort of saw the honor and respect that you're giving your individual students. You're giving them dignity and showing them who they can become in the future. And so I just want to give you, like, when I first saw the title of your presentation, I went financial literacy. So it's going to be about how to manage your assets, right? Your own assets. And then as I watched the video, what struck me was that it was so much more than that. That it was really about the assets of the community and how they are part of the community, and they walk in and among and alongside of them. And one day I'll actually turn to leading the community. And so for me, what struck me is, I've had the opportunity to visit your school, and just wondering about how the things that you're learning, your insights as Kumu is creating capacity that's going beyond your classroom, and then how's it going beyond a single class or a single teacher, and where does it go next? Like, what is, like, 3 years, 5 years down the road? What should we see that tells us that, you know, it's actually permeating throughout the system, even maybe beyond Konawaena?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I mean, that's the hope here, right? That's why we have all of you wonderful people listening to my presentation, because I think that our program was already forward thinking. So in the context of COVID, for example, we need to do more online platforms, and we were already trying to do it online. So in that sense, we want to do a digital library and host the program on a platform available for all Hawaii teachers. We really want to work to publish with an accompanying teacher guide and workbook for the students, so that no matter where people are in the world, they can join our virtual library and access the information. And then there's a hope down the line that we can solicit sponsors and contacts I have in Silicon Valley to provide the equipment and technology for students to have laptops in order to engage in the program with after school activities. So I see the digital divide with my kids, and I'm like, we absolutely need to get them the technology. We have to get broadband in areas like Ocean View, Keau. I mean, you see these really rural, off the, you know, all these places in Hawaii that the kids just can't access the technology. So we have to look at that. First and foremost, we want to get videography support. We want to be able to, you know, get the videos in the library, and then get an honorarium or stipend for Kumu and I to create the curriculum together, because I don't know if you guys know, but we've only worked together twice on this because we wanted to pilot it. And we said, oh my God, this is going to be an amazing thing if we're able to get a sponsor to really help us develop this together. So I've talked to the leadership at the Kona Waina complex, and they're interested in learning more, right? They want to see like, so what is this thing? What are you guys doing? What's the potential partnership here? And once we've piloted with the complex, we want to be able to take this to other complexes around the island and eventually throughout the whole state. So in regards to cultural practitioners, so Kumu is specific for maybe Kona or Big Island, or even for the state of Hawaii, but I do look at this program as expanding around the United States for other underserved communities. So depending on the community we're serving, the cultural practitioner could switch out, right? So Kumu is perfect for the type of lifestyle we live out here. He's recognized by community. We honor the work that he does, and the fact that he was even willing to do this is amazing. So yeah, he's in it, and he said, you know, tell me what their response is, because I would like to see this as well. This might be something done in the Hawaiian studies programs. This might be done in the business programs if we start introducing that. But I think it depends on each complex, each school, but we're willing to take it with a much broader audience.
Yeah, it's very hopeful, and there's lots of places where you can do what you just described within the department. So looking forward to seeing that happen.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, I guess that was also my question to you, Phyllis, is like, how would we expand this into DOE? You know, I'm so proud to be a teacher, but I would love for my colleagues to have access to this information. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what channels you recommend we can make this happen.
So there is a learning, I'm not sure we have time, but there's a learning resource website that is available to all teachers. Would love to put some of that on there. There's OHE, and then there's work that we are doing with eSchool and digital learning that I think we absolutely could explore. I know Ed No's on board in the chat room, and he's the innovation grant guru for us. So I think I'm just giving the first thing that popped in my mind. There's lots of things for you to explore. So if you just contact me, we can talk about it and I'll get you to the right people.
Perfect. And Lauren and Jessica, I wasn't able to ask you guys questions because I do have questions for you. So Lauren, what kind of insight can you provide regarding expanding this program into the KS community? Because I know you guys have a lot of cool projects going on. Like, where do you see us possibly working together?
I think, you know, we have a regional team that's already on the ground, actually in Kona too. So I'd love to make that connection for you and then connect you directly to our Hawaii campus. It's on the east side, but that would be one starting place. But it would be great to just introduce you actually to all of our po'okula.
Nice.
Because I think this is something that would be very foundational for students, not just on the financial literacy front, obviously, as we talked about, but just, I think the kind of questions that you're asking, I'm sure there's a lot of almost like kind of awareness, perhaps even for some of them, to connect to some of the struggles, but also to the, I guess, the inspiration and potential of what can happen. And I love how you go directly to very practical solutions. The second part I would say is, you know, we are really working hard at entrepreneurship outside of school, after school, even for adults. So it'd be great to like connect you to some of that incubator space. So we'll definitely connect after this. I think there's tons of opportunity, but those are the two that I would start with first.
Okay, great. And then Jessica, how do you think we can format this so that it can support families part of your organization who receive services?
Jaime, you're talking to the right lady. So I'm the Community Change Initiatives lead for Hawaii Island. So I work out of the Kona and Hilo office. There's definitely an easy overlap here. We already have a growing hui of our Youth Leadership Council. So close to 100 youth from all over the island in these rural, remote places with digital inequities. I love that you're thinking cultural practitioners can change. We know that cultural practitioners will change depending on the moku, even the neighborhood we're talking about on Hawaii Island. So yeah, it's a matter of you and I just sit down and figure this out.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Collaboration and connection happening in real time. It's amazing. I also want to turn to Cece and have her give some initial thoughts and then questions on it, especially coming from elementary, wondering what financial health or financial literacy looks like in that space. So Cece, what are some of your initial thoughts and questions you have for Jaime?
Hi, Jaime. First of all, the electricity in this room, even though it's virtual, is awesome. I love that people are making connections, and teacher to teacher, this is so exciting. I'm so excited for you. I can feel how passionate you are about this, and your student testimonies just show how much you really, really care, and how much it impacts them. So I just wanted to say like a big shout out to you for that. As an elementary teacher, I was getting excited hearing about your idea to expand the curriculum from K to 12. And I was curious about what that looks like. And if you've already thought of some ideas of pulling focus groups together of elementary and middle school teachers. And if so, I'm in, let me know.
Yes.
And my other question, yeah, all right. I'm there, yeah. And my other question was, I was really curious, like how, if any, has there been reactions or feelings from the families of your kids and the community that they exist in about the work that your students have been doing, because they are doing amazing work. I was looking through the all of the different slides and everything, and has there been interest in partnerships? And the second question is, where can I get those amazing t-shirts that your kids designed? Because they're awesome and I need one. So yeah, I would appreciate hearing from you.
Okay, so shameless plug for Konawaina Entrepreneurship Program. You can get it at their student store. So once we reopen, we definitely have the Rise and Grind shirts and the Coffee First shirts that they designed. They also actually have their Up Malka products for the whole career and technical education program at KTA in Keaho. So we actually sell our products in the grocery store, which is fantastic.
Awesome.
But to go back to your question about parents, I think that a lot of them have been so grateful. I've really connected with them and they're just like, oh my gosh, I never got this education. Like, thank you so much. Truth be told, my kids' families are so busy working like 2 to 3 jobs that the students sometimes share, sometimes don't. I know that the parents are excited, but I feel like they aren't able to participate at the level they want to because they're so busy working. So this isn't because they don't want to be involved, it's because they can't get involved. And I think the virtual platform will allow for them to do that. So maybe if we have like a, you know, parent corner, guardian corner, where they can interact with the, you know, the curriculum with the students. So that's the first part. The second part is, yes, so very cool that our vice principal at Konawaina is now the elementary school at Konawaina L. So I have been talking to her and she was super pumped and excited. Shout out to Diane Spencer and Sean Suzuki, who have been super supportive of all of my very ambitious ideas. But my students this year had already actually drafted ideas on how to reach local students. So my hope is that the current cohort in my classroom can continue to develop the curriculum and possibly even feature those students in the videos to help teach the curriculum, right? Because the kids actually can teach this stuff too, guys. It's incredible.
Exactly, yeah.
I'd also like to pull in student mentors who can help us develop the coffee line and provide mentorship for the elementary school and the middle school kids so they can learn how to develop products and partnerships so that the legacy continues beyond us.
That's great. Thank you, Jaime.
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you, Cece. I know this won't be the last time that you folks connect and talk, whether it's digitally, whether it's IRL, whether it's offline. So I'm super excited. But I do want to give an opportunity for our audience to ask questions. So I'm going to mahalo our resource expert, Cece, Jessica, Lauren, and Phyllis. Mahalo to you folks. And Jaime will stay here with me as we bring on Maestro's Vibe. This dynamic team were presenters at last year's Spark and Inspire. And we're super thrilled to have them back with us this year to lead our Q&A with our audience. Maestro's Vibe is a creative space to discuss and engage and collaborate with other educators about topics that shape our educational landscape here in Hawaii. And this is our 5th podcast season. So here to elevate our conversations on education is Karina, Juan, and Kevin.
Thank you so much. Aloha, my name is Karina, and we are Maestro's Vibe. We're back again to elevate our audience's voice. For our panelists, we would love to share your resources with our audience. Check out our podcast on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or Google Play. And remember to have your voice heard by putting your questions on Slido and Facebook Live page. With that, what do you have for us, Kev?
Our first question and our most popular question for the night goes to Leslie. Jaime, what is your ultimate hope for students who go through this program in regard to economic outcomes?
So I want them to be the business owners on Ali'i Drive. I want them to be the local small business that creates solutions for the environment, for their culture, for the keiki. I want basically money to be in Hawaiian hands, right? Back into the indigenous population. And I think that we have a history that is complicated when it comes to capitalism, and the fact that, you know, they haven't been able to interpret their participation in the economy on their own terms. And so we know that there is a history where capitalism has led to the downfall of the Hawaiian Kingdom. And so we need to repair some of those injuries, right? We need to come together as a community to say, how about we let them decide how they want to participate in the economy and what the values are within those economic systems. So number one, I want the students to be the next business owners, the next local business that we purchase from. And number two, I want them to define the economy in their own terms.
That's powerful stuff. And big mahalo again for joining us here. Keep putting your voices in the Slido to our audience. Big mahalo to our audience members. I noticed some of y'all that have been coming back now 2 days in a row. Thank y'all so much. Next question, Jaime, is actually from, this next one actually comes from Ian. Why should Hawaiians and people of color care to invest in the business world?
Wow, that's a loaded question. So we actually had talked about this, and I think that's a good question. It's a really good question because the people making the decisions right now do not necessarily have the Hawaiian values that we need. So the more Hawaiians that participate in this discussion, the more their values will be elevated in the discussions that matter, that create the policies, that decide who our elected officials are, that decide where our corporations will be placed. They're making all the decisions without our input. And so it's important that communities of color, particularly indigenous communities, have a voice at the table in how the economy runs.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jaime. We have another question for you here. And this one has been voted, and it says, where do you want to go from here, and what resources do you need to take it to the next level?
Also a very loaded question. So number one, I want to develop this curriculum with Kumu. I want to be able to receive the coaching support from the panelists that we had tonight, from Cece, who's Teacher of the Year, from folks like you who work in the classroom every day. And I want to be able to publish a teacher guide so that any teacher can utilize this in the classroom. So we'll do a teacher guide, a workbook, we'll film modules, and then house this within an established nonprofit. So, I mean, if I have to establish my own, I would, but really I feel like this should be housed under a nonprofit that already has that mission and vision, because this program belongs to the Hawaiian community. The second phase is like 3 to 8 months where we establish a virtual library. We have a web portal, and then we do a 4-week pilot with a complex from elementary to high school. So we have the curriculum placed within a business program and then measure the results and collect the data from it and obtain an official publisher to publish all of the findings and the workbooks. And then we'd like to bring it to our second complex by about 8 to 9 months. And then possibly even adopt this with the TFA core so that they can incorporate it with curriculum for incoming teachers. And then again, I had talked about it earlier, but I would like to see Silicon Valley companies invest in the technology for the students so that there's that connection between technology, business, and our keiki. Big vision.
Yeah, I love that big vision, and it takes big ideas to make big action. So mahalo for that, Jaime. Our next question also comes from me, and it's been upvoted. Continue to put your questions into that Slido and Facebook Live page to have your voice heard. The question for you, Jaime, is why and how does being culturally relevant make business sense? I know you've touched a little bit on this idea, but feel free to expand on it some more.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? How can...
Yeah, definitely. How does being culturally relevant make business sense?
Right, okay, great. So, you know, I'm always going to corporations and I'm saying, and in their corporate speak, everything is about profits, right? So if you look at diversity and you see that minorities will be the majority by 2050, then all you're doing is expanding the consumer pie. You're expanding it so it's inclusive of all cultures. And so if they really want to talk about profits, if you're not inclusive of brown and Black people in this country, then you are missing a segment of the population that could purchase your product. Also really important to have minorities in leadership positions in corporations so that they're curating products for these specific communities. Again, you want to talk about economic development, create the products that minorities want to see. So it all makes sense from a business standpoint, and I don't understand why we're still trying to validate this argument in 2020.
Now, this is the truth. It is. And a big, powerful question came in, and the question here is two-parted. What makes you uniquely qualified, and how can we help you?
So I don't know if there's anything that makes me uniquely qualified other than I have a vision and I am not afraid to execute it. I think a lot of us have the same visions for our kids, and other people have had similar ideas. It's that, are you willing to pull triggers and invest the time and energy to be able to open the doors of access for communities of color? And so for me, this has always been the mantra of my life. And you know, I want to make sure that there's equity in economics, period. I know that I didn't talk about how, you know, aside from corporations and all these corporate sponsorships, how people could help. But if people want to help to donate to the GoFundMe, we're trying to fundraise for the honorarium for Kumu and I to work together, and also to get this on a virtual platform. So we have a GoFundMe link, and it's in my website on the Student Corner.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jaime. So for our audience members, remember to continue to interact with the participants on Student Corner. Questions that did not get answered today will be answered on this platform. As for our podcast, tune into our episode with Jaime to learn more about her and on any podcast platform. But definitely check out her episode where she tells us her story, and you can learn more about her project through our podcast. Our future episodes will be released on Monday and Friday. And mahalo for your time. Till next time.
Mahalo for leading a great discussion, Maestros Vibe. Make sure you check them out and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcasts. Jaime, mahalo for sharing your inspiring story. I love your thought that you have vision and you're not afraid to invest in it. And knowing that currently there's only 17 states that require financial literacy as a graduation high school requirement, and Hawaii's not necessarily there yet, but we're making strides. I know that you're going to be part of that movement to make that happen for our Kiki. So mahalo, Jaime, for that. We're also incredibly grateful to have Student Corner as our first time sponsor this year. Student Corner is a web platform that showcases student work, and it's a brainchild of UH Hilo computer science student George Donev. Student Corner's user base has been growing exponentially, and it saved the 2020 Hawaii State Science and Engineering Fair by enabling submissions from more than 400 participants to go viral on its platform. All the projects that are viewable, even Jaime's project that you've seen tonight, as well as last night with Laura and Olga, they'll be viewable on the public on Student Corner's site. And you, the audience, can participate in supporting the project that you saw by learning more on Student Corner. We'll have a picture of a QR code on the screen that the audience can use their smartphone to access the Student Corner, as well as checking our chat. And while our presenters are building out their awesome websites of their own, the Spark and Inspire Student Corner page will be the master platform to keep track of all the Spark and Inspire projects. These presenters will be updating their projects regularly so you can follow along and see how you can continue to support them. So as we near the end of our night, let's welcome back Jill and David to close us out.
Wow, I'm stunned. You guys are incredible. Jaime, it's been a pleasure getting to know you over these last couple of months and to see you in action, just really chicken skin. So I just want to say thank you to all of our presenters, resource experts, Maestros Vibe, and you, the audience, for making these virtual pitches come to life. It's been amazing to see the energy we can create together, even if we're separated physically. And I don't want to miss, but we can't wait to see you back here tomorrow for the final presentation. It's just been amazing. So before we close up the night, I wanted to extend one last mahalo to the folks and organizations who made this week possible. So thank you so much to the Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation, AT&T, and Hawaiian Telcom for supporting Spark and Inspire for 2 years in a row. The Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation has generously provided $2,500 seed grants to each presenter group to boost their projects immediately. Mahalo to the resource experts tonight. You folks were amazing and asked some incredible questions. And thank you to Student Corner, Juan, Kevin, and Karina, and Maestro's Vibe and George. Mahalo to the coaches who helped to support our presenters, including Bella Hughes from Shaka T, who is a coach for Jaime. And then thank you to Ken Hiraki, Liz Songvile, Ani Menon, and Francis Cho for your partnership from the very beginning. And last, but definitely not least, thank you to the students who have been helping with our live stream tonight. So Maria Onks, Riley Blaber, and Aletta Hammerich.
Well, we couldn't gather in person this year. We also want to send our aloha to Kavaivai and Waipahu High School's Culinary Arts Program for being a part of our original Spark and Inspire plan for 2020. We hope to partner with you again in the not too distant future. Again, thank you to all of you who are out there watching and for participating with us tonight. We hope this experience is the start of your partnership with our presenter. We encourage you to follow her progress on Student Corner and support her as she pursues her vision. Most of all, we hope that you are leaving tonight sparked and inspired by the innovative work happening in our schools and all that we can accomplish as a community together. That's it for tonight. Join us tomorrow. Mahalo nui and a hui ho.